What's going on, guys? Fullsteer, and I'm back with another video. Today's video, I'll be doing an in-depth Warwick jungle guide. Warwick is probably one of the better junglers you can play right now. I would highly recommend you to play him. He's quite easy to pick up. His kit's not very mechanic heavy, so that's definitely something you can get away with, especially like as the new ranked season just began. He is very much recommended. I would like. It's pretty a staple jungler. It's really hard to die on him. He's easy clears, easy champion to play, easy to carry with. So yeah, let's get right into the Rune build I would recommend on him, and that's going with press the attack first. Press the attack on Warwick is actually really damn good because you can auto-attack Q, auto-attack somebody, or like auto-attack, hold down your Q, and then follow them, auto-attack them, and then press the attack will give you a lot of extra damage. But also, it works with your ultimate. So if you ult somebody, you're gonna get press the attack proc on them as soon as you're done. Because I believe it procs like 3 or 4 hits or something, and it counts with press the attack. So you can definitely make it work that way. And just get the procs on them like that. And then after all the damage, you will still be able to follow that with 12% increased. And then press the attack just works really well on Warwick. Now after that, I like to go for Triumph. Because on Warwick, you get quite low. If you stick in fights longer, you do have a lot of healing. And then Triumph, the 12% of your missing health will get you through a lot as well. This is pretty much the best one to go for. After that, I like Alacrity or the Tenacity, depending on the enemy team, of course. If you have the enemy team with a lot of hard CCs, then, or like just CC in general, then Tenacity is very good into that. But apart from that, I would definitely go with the attack speed, because it just, like, the more attack speed you have, the better. The more attacks you can get in, the closer those 1v1 situations get. So, yeah, pretty much. Now here, you usually... On Warwick, I like Last Stand, because I usually get quite low when I try to fight people. I try to go in and just, like, get low, heal everything back and all that type of jazz. So Last Stand will work quite well with that. If you don't like Last Stand, if you're not finding yourself to get too low in a lot of situations, then Coup de Grace is a better choice in that situation, like in that as an option. But that is completely up to you, really. These ones don't really matter which one you pick. Either one is good. Now, as a secondary tree, I go for the sorcery tree. There's, in my opinion, not really any tree that's better, because of the fact that you can get celerity and water walking in this tree. The combination of these two on Warwick is really good. Mainly to just chase people down. Celerity increases your movement speed straight up, and then the water walking will give you the extra movement speed whilst you're running through river as well. Meaning that if you get the W hunt on somebody, and then you're like sprinting from, and the W hunt's on bot lane and you're like top lane, you can just walk straight down with like 700 movement speed total or some shit after your boots, and then you can get there really fast. So this combination is the one I just think is the best to go for on Warwick, because of that roam speed potential. Because what it pretty much allows you to do is all the extra speed you get from this, and then the fact that you get tier 2 boots quite quickly on Warwick, you can just farm your jungle constantly and like keep farming, and as soon as someone gets low, you get a really fast counter gank. Like, it's actually really effective, and this is definitely just the setup I would recommend. There's really nothing better, in my opinion. So yeah, this is the one I would go with for that reason, just the chase reason, the hunt reason. It synergizes really well with Warwick's kit. So let's get right into the items now. That's the runes I would go with on Warwick. Let's go here. Then, moving into the item build, you obviously want to start with the Hunter's Machete, since that's pretty much the best one to go for. And then on Warwick, you don't need any health potions, so you are fine to go with the Rejuvenation Bead. The reason you go with the Rejuvenation Bead is because it gives you base extra healing, so it's kind of still somewhat health-related item, so it still gives you some healing. But the main thing is, this builds into a Tiamat. And Tiamat is the item you want to rush on Warwick as fast as you possibly can, before anything else. The reason you want this on Warwick is because your jungle clear is horrendous. You don't have anything AoE, so you're not going to get through your Raptor camp and your Croc camp very effectively. The other camps, I mean, they're manageable. Mainly the Gromp and both buff camps are easy to get through on Warwick because single target damage is no problem. But Tiamat just allows you to get through your Croc camp and your Raptor camp really fast. And you need this item to be able to get your CS up at a decent rate. If you don't get this item, you're gonna pretty much shoot yourself in the foot, because you're gonna lose a lot of just CS in time. Like, it's not worth it. Just pick up this item. It is really good. Also, this item builds into the next item. That's definitely a core item in Warwick's kit, with whichever build you go for, because the Titanic Hydra is just really good on that. So this, after the Tiamat, you always want to pick up your tier 2 boots. This can come in the form of Ninja Tabis or Mercury Treads, really no other option. Again, depending on the enemy team, if you have, if the Mercs are, like, if they have heavy CC, you go Mercs. Any other situation, Ninjas. Ninjas are 99% of the time the better boots to get. So, yeah, Ninja Tabi, really. Now, after you get these items, this is pretty much your core. You want to upgrade this. Maybe even in between if you're, like, I don't know, back with some awkward gold or some stuff and you can buy it. Then you can get a Skirmisher Saber as well in between somewhere. But usually it's this item into that item into Skirmisher Saber. And then you upgrade the Skirmisher into the Cinderhulk enchant. The Cinderhulk enchant is pretty much the best enchant to go for on Warwick. Because, I mean, you could go Blood Razor, I guess, if you want to. But, like, losing out on the tankiness you get from Cinderhulk is really not that worth it in my opinion. And yeah, I'd say Cinderhulk is the best one. Plus, this also gives you the extra damage based like on your jungle camps combined with Tiamat, so you clear even faster. And I mean, you know, it makes you a little bit tankier. If you go for the Blood Razor, you're gonna find yourself to be very squishy on the Warwick. And sure, you deal a lot more damage, but it's not really that worth it, if you know what I'm saying. So this is pretty much like core item. These 3 items is what you want to get on Warwick as fast as possible every game. And then after this, you have a couple of options, depending on how well you're doing, depending on how the game's going. So, yeah, you have the Trinity Force option, of course. It is a really good item to scale if you're doing really well. So if you're getting ahead, then, and like, you're like 4-0, 5-0, who knows? Like, you have good CS, you're good, like, a solid amount ahead. Then picking up the Sheen first into Triforce is very, very good into this, like, after this. This is usually what I do on Warwick, because I find myself ahead most of the time on Warwick, since the way I gank and the way I use this kit. I just keep my jungle farm going and farm and farm and farm. And then if I have an ultimate, I gank. If I have my flash, I gank, because then I can flash E somebody. Those are the times I gank, and apart from that, I just counter gank. So as soon as someone gets low on the enemy team, I can run up there with my W, because I put a couple points in my W early on. Which, by the way, skill order on Warwick, I put 3 points in W early. You could max it if you want, but I personally put 3 early. And then max Q after, max W after, E, and then ult whenever you can, of course. That's skill order, just an FYI. So that's what I do. I like those 3 extra points to help me chase people in the early game. I don't really max it out because I don't find it that useful. But yeah, that's really, like, that playstyle just allows me to get Trinity Force pretty much every single game. If you're not allowed to get Trinity Force because you're not doing too well, or maybe you got, like, unlucky into maybe counter jungled or whatever, ganks don't work out, whoever knows, then this is not really a viable choice, because this is going to cost you too much money. And then you can still always just get the Titanic Hydra, or as like a staple damage item that you could pick up. It's a little bit tankier to go for, it's a little bit safer to go for this as well. And this doesn't even have to be right there as an item. You can also always just build like a Random Winds as a tank item in between, or maybe the Deadman's Plate as a tank item. There's a couple of, like, honestly, apart from this, like, these damage items, Warwick doesn't really have any damage items. So you literally just press armor if you need some armor. You can get, like, a stone plate if you want to dive in with an ultimate, and then press your stone plate whilst you're ulting them. Or right before you're ulting them, whatever you want. Then you can go in and then tank a lot of damage whilst CCing someone down. That's very effective. Deadman's Plate is going to help you with a lot of, like, roaming speed. So if you're not doing too well, it's most of the time best to go for Deadman's Plate after this setup. So you can go for like this setup still, because you have to get this setup no matter what. Then you can pick up a Deadman's Plate right after to make sure you get all that extra movement speed, so you can get around the map faster. And then, like, even faster, you're already running around at god speed, but you're gonna run it even faster. You're gonna be tanky. You're gonna just be peeling for your AD carrier. For anyone who's doing quite well on your team, just peel for them, stay next to them. Ult targets that jump on them, E targets that just jump on them, just keep them away from him, and this extra speed is just going to allow you to be farming your jungle camps to get back into the game more, but then also react really fast with Deadman's Plate if something goes down. So that's pretty much the staple item you want to be picking up. If you're, like, not doing too well, you can then go Deadman's Plate into Titanic Hydra, be very tanky, and then maybe pick up like a Spirit Visage. Wait, that's not armor. Yeah, there we go. For some extra magic resist in this slot as well, and then you can combine that with maybe a Gargle Stone Plate. It's a very good combination. So something like this. Like, you have the Deadman's Plate safety net, so you can get that movement speed. Then you get to the point where you can actually afford a Titanic Hydra, really. So you can upgrade this, then get extra damage, because obviously this is health. This gives you extra health, and this is health, so health-based damage. Then you can build into maybe a Spirit Visage. Excuse me. So that will be, like, 2 items there, and then 3 items here. And then you can finish that build off with a stone plate to make you even more tanky. It's going to give you 80 armor, 80 magic resist as soon as you dive in. And then also you can double your health, which is pretty much just a very tanky build. If you like switch maybe Spirit Visage for a Randomance into like more crit heavy teams, also very viable. You don't really need Spirit Visage all that much. You have Stone Plate to make up for most of the magic resist in that situation. Your healing gets reduced a bit though, but realistically, if they focus you anyway, it doesn't matter if you heal that much back or not. You're not gonna die with this build because you're so tanky. So that's just pretty much the option. If you're going for like doing a really well type of game, you're like snowballing, all that, then what I do is I pick up the Sheen right after this, then go into a Trinity Force with that Sheen as fast as I can, because this is going to be insane damage. Then a Titanic Hydra after this to upgrade your Tiamat into it. This is going to give you even more damage. Like this is going to be easily like 1v1 anyone on the map type of damage. And then after that you can pick up literally anything really. You can go for Demon's Plate, you can go for Randomance, Stone Plate, Spirit Visage, any type of tank item after that is really good, because this is all the damage you need on Warwick, these two. Plus then, I mean, of course, this is going to scale up your damage with the Titanic Hydra. So these 2 damage items is really all you need. Apart from that, it's just straight tank items. Whatever fits best, Randomance, Stone Plate, Demon's Plate if you want extra move speed. You know, it's completely up to you at that point. Whatever fits. Adaptive Helm, who knows. So yeah, that's pretty much the Warwick build. If you guys have any questions on this build, make sure to put them in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer those questions for you. And if you've enjoyed this video so far, please make sure to hit the thumbs up below. Helps me a lot, helps me get this video out there. And let's get right into the gameplay now. Alright, welcome to the gameplay section of this guide. As you can see, I'm playing Warwick into a Rengar, which is honestly a really good matchup for Warwick because of the fact that, I mean, he's a squishy champion that just bursts a lot, and on Warwick you get quite tanky. Plus you have your E to soak up a lot of burst damage, so if you time your E correctly, there's really nothing the Rengar can touch you with, and it's just gone. It's over. You just win. So this is like, any type of assassin is a very good matchup for Warwick, really. The only one you might have a problem with early on is Kha'Zix, because the champion is quite busted, and if he gets going, then it's gonna be very, very hard to actually deal with him. But even then, still the same concept applies. You can use your E to block out a lot of damage, and then sustain your health back up really quickly to essentially just be able to 1v1 a Kha'Zix at really any point in the game. So yeah, Warwick's very good at countering squishy champions that have a lot of burst damage. A lot of constant damage though gets really difficult, because then there's really no way for you to block that. Sure, if the constant damage isn't that high, then you can out-sustain it very easily. But I don't know, let's say a Shyvana, that's way too much constant burst damage, like constant HP scaling damage, that you're just gonna get like obliterated at that point. Now right here, I'm standing in this position right here, as you can see, mainly to counter Blitzcrank. I'm not sure if you wanted to try to go for like a cheese steal or something, like anything like that. So standing right there, make sure that I get hooked instead of the blue, because that's usually the way they hook it from. They hook it from like here. So standing in between, that's very important, and that's a good thing to do, because then your bot lane can always still continue the blue buff, and you can just walk up, use the plant to get over, or like walk around or something like that, and then still get your blue buff that way. Alright, here I'm just gonna clear my Gromp. It's a very like basic clear on Warwick. Like wherever you start, the camps you want to clear are your blue, your Gromp, your wolves, and then your red buff. You can also clear like blue, Gromp, and red buff, or like in the other way around, red buff, blue, Gromp. That still hits you level 3, but I like to do the wolves in between as well, because it actually just is a little bit more efficient in your like leveling wise. Gives me all 3 skills, and if I do get invaded this way, then I will have all 3 skills to fight back. But usually you won't be able to get invaded if you do the 3 camp clear, because then they're not going to be fast enough to invade you unless it's a level 2 invade, which is not going to happen against, like, if you level 2 again to invade against a Warwick, that is quite questionable. Because usually Warwick will win that 1v1 very, very easily. But I also know Rengar doesn't really invade, and yeah. I just use the thing over. I saw Rengar here, I'm just like gonna use my E on the Scuttlecrab to reduce his armor and magic resist and allow me to burst it quite easily. And right here, I'm just like looking to pressure Warwick, because as I said earlier, it's really like, as Warwick, you're so good at actually 1v1ing people early game, especially with press the attack, that you just win. Now right here, I mean, he presses W to get out of my flea a little late, gotta say, but it doesn't matter anymore because my pressing attack got my damage up like enough to the point that the Rengar just lost. I mean, he still has his flash. He could have used that to survive it, looking at it right now. But then I also, of course, could have flashed after it to get one more auto attack in. Not sure if I would have done that though, but he had a chance to escape that, really. But either way, I do get the kill on him, and that puts me in a good lead. Alright, here, I saw him place a ward earlier, so I kind of just like walk back up and then clear the ward. I have enough gold right now for my most important back. I get my Tiamat. That is very, very important because this will allow me to clear my Krugs and my Raptors very efficiently. And that's really the back you want to look for. If you can get that back, which usually happens if you can get one like good kill, which isn't that difficult. It's not that difficult to get a good kill on Warwick because you can do those 4 camps that I told you, and then go for like top or mid lane with like a flash E if you can time it correctly, and that's usually a kill. If not flash E, then flash E gank, you can always like invade the other jungler because you're likely to be able to win any 1v1 situation against those junglers in the early stages of the game because of the damage reduction you have, and then also with the pressing attack combination, you can definitely just win that fairly easily. Now here, Tiamat allows me to just start my full clears and start getting my CS up, which is very important if you want to be able to actually win games. And then as soon as that happens, as soon as I get that clearing, I will like to go for the dragon. Warwick's one of those champions that's very good at clearing the dragon, so if you can start doing that quite early on, as you can see, you can clear it quite efficiently, and having those dragons, especially like an ocean dragon for your laners, is very good. If you have an ocean dragon for your laners early on, it's very strong dragon because they will be able to stick in lane for a lot longer at a lot higher HP. So if they get poked down, if you're like against pokey champions like a Zed into a Riven, Zed's trying to look for those WQ snipes to get a lot of poke on the Riven, but then the ocean dragon will kind of counteract that, and that will give your laners a lot of lane pressure back. So that's one dragon, but also the Infernal helps, of course. Any dragon just helps. So on Warwick, if you get the chance, look for it, and yeah. Now right here, I warded the red buff from the Rengar, so as soon as he starts showing up there, I can definitely go and steal the red buff from him. There's really nothing he can do against me because I'm a lot stronger than him. He knows that, like... Actually, right there, he might have been able to make a play. If he had his red smite up, he might have been able to make a play. Now Zed, right here, tries to go for maybe a play on something, I don't even know. I mean, I have my damage reduction, I have my ultimate, so there's really nothing he's going to be able to do against me. I can just, like, press my E, block most of his damage since he's a burst damage type of champion. If you time your E correctly to block most of his burst damage, then there's really no way that they're actually going to be able to kill you. Now, the Kled does kill the Echo on top lane. I was looking at Riven on top lane and was like, is that Riven top lane? No, it's Riven mid lane. So Kled does kill the Echo, but then I just walk in on the Kled because I do get my W hunt on him. And then I just pick up a free kill, really. Now, on this back, I was able to get my Ninja Towers completed in combination with my red smite, and that's really an ideal second back after your Tiamat. If you don't have enough money for your jungle item, then that's fine, but you always want to look towards completing your boots. If you can get your tier 2 boots after your Tiamat, get them as fast as possible, really. It's very important to have your tier 2 boots on Warwick because of the fact that it works really well with your W. You'll be able to chase people a lot, and you'll have a lot of like counter gank pressure, and that's really what you want to look for on Warwick, having that counter gank pressure. Obviously, just straight up gank pressure as well is nice. If they like trade and get low, the other jungler doesn't even have to be in the lane. But if you just get low, then the tier 2 boots in combination with your W will mean a lot as well. And yeah. Now right here, I mean, I do die, I know that, because I do remember this. I do die, but right here, the Alistar could have easily just went in on the Ezreal and dove right there, because this is ultimate and he's Alistar. So that kind of threw me off a little bit, so I kind of pressed my W to get in range, because I thought he was going to dive the Ezreal with his ultimate. He doesn't make use of that properly though, and then I kind of was hovering around, still waiting for the dive to happen a little too long, and I do die for that. So that kind of... I mean, it's kind of my fault, I guess, for trusting the Alistar to go for the dive, for thinking he would go for the dive, but in my mind that was the logical play, so that's really what I thought was going to happen. It didn't happen though, I did die for it, so I guess I learned from that or something, I don't even know. There was really not much to learn from that. That was the correct play, but I guess I should have backed off after I saw that he wouldn't initially go for the dive, and then assume he wouldn't go for the dive after either. So, whatever. So I get my Bami Cinder on that next back. I did wait for a little bit in base. It's very nice to have that. It will speed up my jungle clear a lot more. Because it will combine the TMF damage with the burn damage from Bami Cinder. And then it will just like burn my camps down really quickly. Alright, here, this is a classic one. This is really the way I gank on Warwick. I just clear my jungle camps, just minding my own business, as you can see right here. And then as soon as I see this happen, I know that someone's gonna get low from their team. And this will instantly trigger my, right here, my 3 points in my Blood Hunt that I like to go for early on Warwick. Getting those 3 early points is really what I look for. That's what I do on Warwick early. Get 3 early points. So before level 6, get 3 points in your W, and then you max your Q after, because the other points in your W won't matter too much. You can max your W if you want, but I usually tend to prefer to have the extra Q damage. So this is the counter gank stage. This is what I mean. I just get so much extra movement speed. I just walk in, I flash behind the Rengar so we can't like juke out or jump out or some shit. And then I fear the Rengar back. I get the kill on Rengar, and then after that the Ezreal's also low, so I just clear him up, clean him up, and then ult to make sure that no one else dies, and it's just easy. That's the way I gank with Warwick. That's the way I make it work. Another Ocean Dragon just respawned or like spawned. And I just go for that dragon again. Warwick's a great champion for having that dragon pressure and keeping that dragon pressure up. So that's something you definitely want to look for. Now, I pick up a quick Scuttle Crab. It's really easy to clear Scuttle on Warwick, because you can just press your E and then press your E again to fear the Scuttle. And then as soon as it's feared, it's going to die very quickly to you. And then that's really easy. Now, I have 2200 gold right here, which is going to be my completed jungle item with probably a Sheen and maybe like something else. Yeah, a health crystal right there. And then also switch out my trinket for the sweeping lens, because I am past level 9 now. That's a good thing to remember. And yeah, the Sheen will give me a massive power spike in damage. I will go for my Triforce this game because of the fact that I'm just doing pretty well. I'm getting quite far ahead, and that's going to provide me with enough scaling damage and just damage in general to be able to carry this game by myself and not needing the help of really anyone else. Because my top laner isn't doing too hot, as well as my mid laner is also not doing that great. Sure, my bot lane is doing pretty good, but yeah. I easily 1v on the Kled here because I am just way too far ahead at this point. I have my Sheen, I have my Red Smite. There's really nothing the Kled's gonna be able to do against me. And it's just a free cleanup, really. So yeah, that's something I'm gonna look for from now on, because my Echo isn't doing too well in lane. Kled's the real threat this game, so if I can use my lead and use my damage to put him down as much as possible, then that way the game will be pretty much a free pickup from there. So that's something you gotta remember. If you're doing well as like a jungler, or anyone really, if you're doing well and you get a lead and you know that you can probably 1v1 the other person on the enemy team that has another lead, then just do it. Because it's just gonna be very much worth it. Now here, it's just simple engage. I'm quite tanky. I wasn't that afraid of like dying to anything as soon as I went in. So I was like, alright, I'm just gonna go for this. I see the Rift Herald up. I can easily just start, I would just start going for this. Rift Herald's very good objective. It's kind of like Dragon as well. It's the same type of deal. Definitely on Warwick. Want to be able to pick that up as much as possible. Pretty much every game if you can manage it. If the game is slow and still, Rift Herald can open up like a turret, for example, if it's necessary. But yeah. Alright, here I saw the fight coming in. And then again, the Warwick W will give you the extra movement speed if anyone gets low, really. And then that way you can make a play happen. Alright, wait. This is a classic Warwick example, by the way. Alright, let me slow this down. I followed the... Oh wait, actually, I'm gonna go back a little further. This is just classic team fighting with Warwick. And this is also I press the attackers with God tier fucking Rune on Warwick. So here, I press my E because Echo was quite low, and if Echo was going more towards me, then yeah, it would have been good. But then the Kled flashes on him. I do have my Q held down on him, so I followed him. Now right here, I'm in a 1v2 situation. Actually, no, the Trish shows up but does die. So I'm in that situation right there. I have a lot of lifesteal and a lot of damage to make that work. So I did kill the Rengar. I did like get really low, but I then every auto attack with a lot of attack speed and enough damage just kept my health going up and up to the point where I was able to survive that. And then that way I actually came out on that fight pretty well. We did lose the fight, but it was, yeah, it was not bad. That's what I'm trying to say. That is a really strange Ezreal play. I don't have to say anything about that. Just, he's like 10% HP and just ease over a wall like that. That's risky as hell. Wouldn't advise that. Don't try that at home, boys. Not smart. Now, here I have the Rift Herald recall. So that's also nice. That's also another added benefit of the Rift Herald. Now here, I think I just completed my Triforce. That's gonna be a very big power spike. Having that Triforce on Warwick is just like, you get so much damage out of that. It's actually insane. I'm level 12 right now, which is also pretty good. That's what happens when you keep your farm going a little bit more. I have 150 CS, which is really good. Now the Klet's up too far. I, again, can use my W to chase that down. Your W is gonna be the real way for you to get, like, places and get kills. And apart from that, farming is very important. So that's really the way you want to play. Just farm as much as you can. And then as soon as a W player rises, or maybe you have your ultimate up, that's when you want to gank. That's how you efficiently do it as Warwick. In the lower elos, you can like abuse speed ganking a lot. So you gank and gank and gank and gank and gank. Because people don't really have any map awareness. You can just run in behind them like no problem at all. And just get the kills with your E. But the higher elo you go, this is the way you want to play it. Yeah. Right there, it's a slightly questionable play on my part. Because I kind of went for this blue buff. Thinking I would be able to get out with my ultimate over the wall. As you can see right here, I tried to get out, but then the Z does block my ultimate barely in the hitbox. I saw a blitz hook coming in. So I instantly held down my Q on the Z. To make sure that I can go through it, dodge the blitz hook. Do get the kill on Z back, but I did die for that. And that was not the smartest play on that part. I kind of greeted for the blue buff a little bit too much. And yeah, if you're that far ahead, definitely try to avoid that as much as possible. Because if you do that, then you're going to give shutdown gold to the entire enemy team. And that's going to give them a chance to get back. I mean, realistically, this game, it doesn't matter too much. But if you if you do that, it's just so much gold they get back. Experience, gold, all that kind of stuff. You don't want to give that up, really. I mean, they're just like, my team won the rest of this fight, really. So that's pretty good for me. I did, by dying there as well, by doing that, what I just did, I did give up my Rift Herald because it timed out. I wasn't able to use it anymore, and that was an even bigger mistake at that point. So that was really bad. Now right here, I was just looking towards making the play towards bot lane. But my team was like pressuring for the end. Because what I was thinking right here is they get the inhibitor, maybe like a turret or maybe anything, I don't know, maybe a turret, and then we back off and we go bot lane. Clear that down to the inhibitor, and then I just push this in for them at the same time. Then, yeah, they really get someone low, and my W just starts proccing, so I just start running towards the fight because I realized that we're actually going to be able to end the game here. So I kind of want to be there to back my team up a little bit more. I mean, realistically, I should have probably ran there initially because that would have been better. But I, of course, couldn't know that that we would have been able to end there. I was trying to go for the better play, and then, or not the better play, but the more obvious play in going for bot lane right after get mid and hip. So yeah. Anyway, that's pretty much the way you want to play Warwick. As you saw this game, I kept my farm going, and as soon as I saw the plays happening with my W and got the W proc on someone on the enemy team, or if I had my ult up, that's when I ganked, and that's how I counter ganked. And then apart from that, I kept my dragon pressure going, which is very big. Give me 3 dragons this game, and give my laners a lot of advantages over the enemy laners, and that's just the way to play Warwick. So yeah, if you guys have any questions on Warwick or anything like jungle related, make sure to put them in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer those questions for you. Also, if you've enjoyed the video, please make sure to hit the thumbs up below. It means a lot to me. It means a lot. So please, you know, it helps the video get out there. And yeah, also, if you guys haven't subscribed yet, please make sure to hit the subscribe button as well if you want to see more content from me. And yeah, see you guys in the next video. Bye!